Y'all ready? Good evening. What's going on, guys? What's going on? I really hope this works, you guys. It's been one heck of a day. My name is Eric Odom with Prosperia Project. Thank you so much for joining. Can everybody hear me okay? I got 99 problems, and success with this studio is not one. So I do have comments loaded up here, and I'm going to try to follow it. It's a little bit delayed. I've got all kinds of sound issues in this studio. My wife is working across the hallway, but we'll get there. And I wanted to have is it Cryptman? I don't think I've asked him. Mr. Cryptman's in chat. I don't think I've asked him how is Cryptman or Cryptman. Anyway, I really appreciate you guys joining, and thank you for being patient as we try and figure this live stream thing out. I'm a perfectionist when it comes to this stuff. I used to be a filmmaker, so meticulous planning and preparing for this is really important to me, and that has not been the case, unfortunately, for this, because I'm working on so many things. Hang on a second, guys. Yeah, so I've been working so hard on this mint that I haven't had the time that it takes to really get this room ready and get all the sound ready and anything. But anyway, I wanted to have Cryptman on tonight. We're gonna get that fixed, and then we'll be able to do. We'll be able to have other guests from other projects, various members of the team. We're really going to put a lot of time and effort into this channel. A lot of channels out there, or a lot of projects, their project creators and teams go on other channels. We want to do that too, but really it is a big part of our objective to be constantly in communication with our community through this channel. I also have my own channel, which is almost 6,000 subscribers strong for my other business that I'm probably going to start doing almost daily vlogs on for just following this project. This is a 5+ year project, you guys. I had the most amazing call today. I can't even begin to describe to you how incredible this call was that I had today with a team of developers who were really looking down the road and thinking about the back end of our marketplace and our economy and where this all goes as far as the Prosperverse that we're building. So this really requires us to be on YouTube and to be like a media company, not just a project and art company. Of course, I say not just, that's amazing in and of itself, but we really are looking to become a media company as well. And super excited about that. I believe we'll have a podcast on all the podcast apps probably within a month and a half or 2 months. I've got to move. So that has to happen first. I believe that Akshay and several of our team are coming from overseas at the beginning of next year, and we'll spend, he's talking about spending 4 to 6 weeks here. So it's going to be a lot of fun. And that's what this channel is for, is to really keep you guys in the loop and just try our best to be communicating with you and bring you along every step of this journey, not just at the mint phase, not just announcements that we try to coherently put out in the channels on a Discord server, but in a real collaborative back and forth type of way. So I am in a few days going to have one of these streams with Cryptman. So we'll do kind of a launch party then, but tonight or tomorrow, today, this morning for a lot of you, this one, because I already delayed the one from last weekend. I just figured, you know what, F it, we're going to go, we're going to do this, and we'll do it in a Q&A format. So now, for those of you watching on YouTube, some of you in the replay gang, you may be seeing this video well after the Zepper mint. So I apologize, but there are some things that I want to get out there about the Zepper mint, because as of the time of this live stream, we are in the midst of finishing up our metadata. I do have all the assets that were sent to me by the artist today. So we're like days away from locking down the multipass whitelist and then rolling into the whitelist mint phases for the Zepper, and then going into May 1st. So if you're replay gang and you're watching this like a week and a half from now, I apologize. Maybe you can look back and say, well, that was interesting, and hopefully you can get some good information. And maybe some of you will have some questions that are relevant down the road. That said, the one big thing that I want to get out there, and we had an announcement about this on Discord. If you didn't see it, go look that up. You can search for it. I'm sure that we'll have more announcements on this. I really should have gotten some water before I did this. Super dry here. But the big thing is that we've seen a lot of questions on this. Cryptman hit me up before this and said, dude, don't forget to mention, yes, we're going to talk about it tonight. We're going to talk about it in a couple nights. We're going to talk about it right before the mint. What you are minting on May 1st, and for those of you with multi-passes a few days before, is a super high resolution still image. So you've seen the animated teasers, but the animated teaser that you've seen, that is not the NFT that you're minting. That will come to you. I'll get to that in a second. But the problem with the animated version, not that it's a problem, but man, our artists are top level. I mean, these guys are not even from Cardano. They come from Ethereum and other blockchains. In fact, the artist ESPYSB, I'm not sure how he pronounces that. He didn't even have a Cardano wallet when I first started communicating with him. I just saw some of his work and I was like, dude, I have to have it. So I hounded him and he told me no. And then I came back like a week or two later and I was like, bro, I'm not going to stop pestering you, because this is the vibe and the flavor that we need for this project. And he didn't even have a Cardano wallet. So these are really, really good artists. And we really wanted you to be able to enjoy the detail of these Zeppers, because they are extremely detailed. I mean, he really molded these and came at these from a true artistic standpoint. The animated versions are really cool, but you don't get that. So you don't get that real detailed look. So what you're minting on May 1st, and again, the multipass in the days before May 1st, is a still image with a particular angle, and it's super high resolution. So when you open that image up and you actually get a good look at it, you're going to be able to zoom in and see all the really good detail. And that's something that was really special to us. It's really special to him as an artist. He doesn't want to lose that. So that's the first thing you get when you mint. Now the bonus to that is on the policy ID that we've created for in-world assets with Prosperia, which there's going to be a lot. There's going to be businesses, there's going to be resources, all kinds of cool stuff that comes in our marketplace here 6 to 8 weeks down the road. On that policy ID, if you're holding a Zepper of any kind, any rarity traits, any faction, whatever it is, you will get that 3D animated version dropped into your wallet, the wallet that's holding that Zepper. So you'll get the same version in its full three-dimensional animated rotating. So you actually get 2 NFTs. You just got to hold one for a little while longer. And besides, we don't have all those ready because that wasn't the focus. The focus was making magnificent, epic art that you could really zoom into and enjoy the details. So I wanted to make sure that I got that out of the way and make sure that your expectations are set right, so that when you get that image of your Zepper next week and on May 1st, that you're not like, hey, this is not animated. It's not supposed to be, but you are getting an animated version. So all of that said, I think that's the big one we wanted to get out there, you guys. Let me jump into comments and see. I don't have a big agenda for tonight. That was really I just wanted to say hello to you and try to get into some Q&A. So ask me anything. Heavy Metal Halls, what's up, man? Trucker Rob. Oh, look, I got my driver friends. For those who don't know, I own a trucking company. So I have a fleet of trucks and a pretty big YouTube channel that's covered my journey. So there's quite a few of my driver friends in here. My subscribers to my channel, which is really cool. Curly Knox, what's going on? Jordan, whole lot of familiar faces. Shanky, Syok. I hope I'm saying that right. I hold one of his NFTs. Nathan, Big J, man, the whole party's here. Street Victory. How many do we have watching? I don't have this open. 30 of you viewing. Okay, cool. All right. So it might be worthwhile to remind folks that the MP Jordan says, and in the future also, I'll be able to put the comments on the screen here. Didn't have that ready either. Might be worthwhile to remind folks that the multi-passes need to be distributed amongst multiple wallets a couple days so folks don't miss out. Jordan, partially true. If you have two of the same multi-pass, you need to put it in multiple wallets if you intend to use two or more of those. So if you have 3 elite multi-passes, you need to put them in 3 wallets. Otherwise, you're only going to be able to use one. If you can mint 2 Zeppers with an elite pass. So if you have 3 elite passes in one wallet, you can't mint 6. You can only mint 2. So you need to move those into multiple wallets and mint from all 3 of those. And you need to have them in there by the snapshot date, which is the 24th, hopefully. But if you have elite, VIP, and standard in the same wallet, that's perfectly fine. You'll be able to mint during the elite phase, then mint in the VIP phase, and mint in the standard phase, all from that same wallet. Let's see. Street Victory, thought the passes can mint. Yeah, exactly. That's what I just described. So yeah, can mint multi-mint same wallet if it's different tiers of the pass. That is correct. Eric, could you tell us more about the faction traits on the Zepper and how it would affect the faction wars? Well, excuse me, guys. I should have brought some water. Let's see. I've been talking on the phone all day, so I don't know why I didn't bring water. Tell us more about the faction traits on Zepper. Yeah, so the faction traits, and this is the case for every asset that we mint, with the exception of the multipass itself. So when it comes to our synthetic or our sense, which is our characters later this year, our starships later this year, hopefully by the end of the year. I almost told you guys something you don't know about. All the assets at the end of the year going into next year, including the moon plots and the Zeppers, have a faction trait. That is not a visible trait in any of the assets. That is not a visible trait. Now, in some of the assets, there is some lore that associates that asset with the faction trait. So Ada is one of our characters. She's my favorite character. She's the first character I made. I crafted her from scratch, and she is amazing and beautiful. She is Iron Hands. That is her faction. So there's lore that's attached to her character, but it's not like she has an Iron Hands shirt or tattoo. That's a tag, a metadata tag that's attached to that asset. So with the Zeppers, the faction trait is not a visible trait, but it is tagged. So when you see it in JPEG Store or any of the marketplaces, you'll see that. If you pull it up on pull.pm, you'll see that trait. We paid for listing in CNFT tools. So there you'll see that trait. And also on CNFT Jungle, you'll see that trait. So that trait is not visible. And that trait also has no impact on the ranking of the asset. That trait is just there for us to track the performance of each faction, each of the 6 factions when it comes time for faction wars. So now there actually is 16 Zeppers that are factionless. So I don't know if that's going to make them more rare. I don't know if I know in Discord there's a lot of jokes about Citizen faction, which is the factionless. So I don't know. It's possible that maybe that indirectly makes those assets more rare. There's 16 that don't have a faction, and that's just because of the math. We wanted to make sure that every asset, every Zepper that had a faction trait, every Zepper, we wanted to make sure that each faction had the same number of Zeppers with a trait, so that so it wasn't lopsided. And those are randomly assigned. So it could be that, who knows? Who knows how that's going to play out? It'll be interesting to see. So anyway, when it comes time for the faction war, we'll pull up the overall marketplaces, which faction, which range of assets with certain faction traits. So if it's Iron Hands, for example, if those assets are the highest floor, then they would win that faction would win 50% of the royalties randomly dropped into their wallets. And I think those royalties are going to be substantial. The royalties wallet already has a few thousand ADA in it before we even start. So all royalties go to that wallet. The only thing the royalties have been used for is transaction fees for airdrops and stuff, which there has been a lot of. We've done a lot of airdrops. Let me go back. Can we mint Zeppers on phone during whitelist or public mint? If you have a wallet that works on a mobile device, I think Eternal and Yoroi work on mobile, maybe. I don't know. I've never done it. But if you do, yes, you will be able to. Well, let me put it this way. It'll be pretty similar to the way the multipass mint worked. And I know that some phones had a little bit of issue with that, but I'm told that that's going to be fixed. Mohammed, nice setup. Got to get used to you. Oh, I'm glad you guys like this setup. It's driving me crazy. I am not happy with a lot of things about this setup. But when it comes to film, I'm like really anal about making sure things look and sound good. And there's way too much echo in this room. And way too much static. I have a Yamaha 8-channel mixer that I literally took out of the box today, so I haven't been able to really tweak the settings. Go get some water. Well, the problem is I have a German Shepherd and a Belgian Mal, and my wife is working across the hallway. So if I open that door, it is going to be absolute chaos. Prosperia Broadcasting Center. Love it. Why is it like that? The image in 3D delivered differently. Well, I feel like I explained that quite a bit. I don't want to go over that again. You can go there's good reasons for it. I was born with Citizen faction in my metadata. It itches a little bit. You might want to see a Prosperian doctor about that itch. So a peacekeeper can use the Zepper with a rebellion trait. Will it have any effect during the faction wars? No, it doesn't matter. You don't need to hold an asset with a faction trait of your faction. There's ways that you can conduct warfare in those faction wars without actually owning an asset with the trait of the faction you're in. The only thing you need to have to qualify for the airdrops in a winning faction is you need to be in that faction in Discord before and at the time of the war, and you need to hold any Zepper. Is it 3 times in the chat? That's funny. OMFG, this is crazy. LFG, holding, love it. What else we got here? Sorry, I'm saying a lot of because I'm reading comments. I like the purple. Yeah, I'm all about purples. Purple and green and purple and yellow work really well together. Really, purple works well with almost anything, except maybe red. But it works well with pink, works well with blue. Jordan says, I've found gratitude to be one of the most powerful forces in life. When you have the discipline to express it, miracles are unleashed. Totally agree. Just want to say that I love that we're all learning, growing, and building a community together. It takes special people with special motivations to do what you're doing here. Thank you. I appreciate that, Jordan. And this is a huge learning experience for me, you guys. The amount of work, I have so much respect for project teams of big 30,000 foot view thinking projects, because the amount of just full court press that we are on right now is, I can't describe the enormity of it. I just cannot describe. Like, it's sleep 5 hours and work on this the rest of the day, every minute. So I appreciate you. And let me say thank you to all of you too, because, when I say team, we have, of course, our team, the team that you all know and see, but I really mean this, you guys. I think our team views this entire community as our team. Like, I feel strongly about that. We're not a big pump and dump. We don't go out there and pay. We've said no. We've said no to countless offers of, hey, send us a bunch of money and we'll talk about you on YouTube, or we'll talk about you on Twitter, or we'll retweet this. Or we don't do it. Like, we're just not going to do it. I don't have any interest in pumping our Twitter numbers up to 8,000 or 9,000 and a Discord up to 10,000 when 80% of it is junk that just wants to flip and, churn and burn. I really feel like our community, all of us together, are invested in seeing this project become what it can become over the course of the next few years. And that is, like, it's magical. It truly is. The conversation I had with this team of developers today was just, oh my, it's going to be a ride. What are the perks for seed buyers pre-ICO? Perks, really, that's a question for, now you can hear my German Shepherd out there throwing a bone in the hallway. That would be a question for Nathan, Black Tie Investor. I'll be totally transparent with you guys. I am totally focused on art and Mint and some of the development things that are happening over the next few months. The token part of this project is kind of completely on his plate. He reports to me daily and I track all of it with him. But I believe your best perk is that you're getting the absolute lowest price that you can possibly get for our utility token. And you're guaranteeing that you're locking it in, because who knows what kind of chaos could happen when it gets opened up to everybody. I don't know. The 3D animated version loses certain quality in the details. Oh, Cripman, yeah. Yeah, it definitely does. The 3D animated version of the Zepper, it doesn't matter how hard you try to catch the right frame of that rotation, you are not going to get the quality that you're going to get on a super high res version of the Zepper. You're just not. I tried. He sent me like the nicest, cleanest render of the animation, and I could slow it down. I could put it into Apple Motion, Final Cut, didn't matter. I could not get a crystal clear image of the asset. So that's what it really comes down to, is making sure that Prosperia, through every step of this, wants to present a professional face in the product that we're developing. And if we were to mint something that you really couldn't get that zoom in, like, oh my God, look at the detail here, then it's not, it's got to be there. And the only way to get it there was to have high res stills, but also have a process to where we could come back and send you guys that really cool 3D animated version as well. Will the Zeppers be weaponized? In the game, the development of the game, they are creating certain ways to implement combat activities. You're not going to be able to fire a missile or a laser or throw a banana in front of another Zepper, but you will be able to have shields, and you'll be able to ram. You'll be able to grow your ramming power and ram into other Zeppers and cause damage to their vehicles. So in that sense, they're kind of weaponized, I guess. Let's see. Anything planned for if you hold multiple Zeppers? Not yet, but that doesn't mean there won't be. Ryan, who asked that, there probably will be, to be honest with you. Man, we're just moving 350 miles an hour. Multiple angles, no, just one, because it's so much rendering and there's so many different variations that if we try to do multiple angles, it would just get really messy. Please tell us more about the Factions Wars, how it will be. I could talk about that for hours. I would highly recommend you get into our Discord server and look at all the faction sections. And there's going to be a lot more information that comes out on that in the coming days. If you're in Discord asking me questions, I'm not looking at Discord. I just opened up Discord and I'm like, holy cow, I don't even know where to jump. So I'm only looking at YouTube questions right now. How far are we into this? 30 minutes? All right. Thank you for the answers. Keep up the good work. Graph says thank you also. Street Victory, are you guys going to use Unreal Engine? Well, I'm not going to say anything on what we'll be using down the road, but I will say that all of our assets are fully compatible, or let me say pipeable, into Unreal Engine and or Unity. All of them, even the characters. The characters are full 3D modeled. They've got all of their bone structure, which there's a word for that. I can't think of the word for that right now. But anyway, they're like, I've already animated several of our characters. What made you guys decide on the evaluation price of the token? That's what it's worth to us. Really, that's what it comes down to. That's what it's worth to us, and that's what we need for development of the things that we're paying for. We've got multiple dev teams coming on board right now, you guys. They're not people that you would see as team members in our server and on our website, but multiple dev teams. Expensive. This game is going to cost $400,000. Just the racing game. So that's really what that came down to. Ramming speed. No bananas. No, I was thinking Mario Kart. Beekeep. I'm probably a little bit older than you, but and I'm talking about original Mario Kart. Let's fucking go. Who's designing the game dynamics? Can't say yet. I will be able to say soon. I'm in a non-disclosure agreement with this game developer, and we're kind of going through finalization of the scope and the contracts, and they don't want us using them for marketing purposes and vice versa. We don't want them using us for marketing purposes until everything's agreed and signed and down payments are made. We have to pay $150,000 just to get started. So when that happens, and that's going to happen very soon, within weeks, then we'll be able to go out there and shout it out loud of who's developing the Zeppelin Moon Raceway. Which, by the way, they came back to me yesterday and said they were going to do multiple tracks. So, let's see. That's what's up. I already love the sneak peeks. Great art, great concept, great storyline. Thank you. You guys have only seen like 2% of the story. And then there's the other part that you all get to write. So, I mean, think about this story, you guys. You shouldn't have mentioned story to get me going, because I love this. Like, I've been writing this for almost a year. It's like when I was a kid, we had choose your own adventure books. And that's really what this is. The part that I've written really only goes to the part of us leaving Sol, which is Earth solar system, and ending up in the Andromeda galaxy, right? We got invaded in 3301, and there was a war that lasted about 9 years. It was a stalemate. They left. We don't know who they were. We don't know what their intentions were. We don't know where they went. Now we're building this economy and we're all thriving. What really happens next? There's no inhabitable planets in our solar system. Do we get out of the solar system and find an inhabitable planet? And if we do, what do we do there as a project, as a community? Maybe our star becomes unstable. We all get to make this shit up. That's the amazing thing about this. Like, we're building based on what we have right now, but where do we go? We can go anywhere. Like, this is our story, you guys. It's amazing. Let's see. Think of it like Kickstarter, but without the middle. Yeah, exactly. Mr. Cripman said that. Sorry, guys. Again, here in a few days when he and I can co-host, I can put the comments on the screen so you know who I'm. You guys can see it in the comments. Replay Gang may not be able to see it, so I'll try to mention a name. Happy NFT, you mentioned that there is one policy for in-world assets. Can the in-world assets be sold outside marketplaces like JPEG Store? Yes, of course. Of course, Happy. You will initially buy those assets with Prosper tokens in our marketplace. They'll already be minted. We will pay to mint them. We'll actually mint them through the same marketplace on the back end. And then you buy them with Prosper tokens, but those are Cardano NFTs. The Prosper token is a Cardano native token. So once you have that asset, what you do with it is up to you. You can go sell it in any marketplace. You can trade it through a tent or escrow. You can come sell it in our marketplace for Prosper. It's your NFT just like it is anything else. And here's another thing. And we haven't really announced or talked about this, but Bjorn and I spend a lot of time just kind of going back and forth with this. Nathan with Black Ties mentioned it as well. We really ultimately want to create an environment where you all are creating ideas and building economic endpoints into that in-world economy as well. So we'd like to have like a Shark Tank style situation where you guys are bringing ideas. Maybe you want to launch a business. We want to create a mechanism for that to where you can, go through a process, have some mechanics where you go through a system to get approval for your idea. And that could be escrow service. It could be renting multi-passes. Who knows? Which would be like a Prosperian pawn shop or something. Who knows? You guys will have all kinds of cool ideas. And if we can make them work in our economy, then we would mint that as an entity, as a business. And, that would then enter the markets. So there's just so many things we can do, you guys. So many. Multiple tracks. Let's go. Hell yeah, Mr. Cripman. When we have a sneak peek of Prosperia, well, we already have one. Are you talking about the ship? If you're talking, or the starport, if that's what you're talking about, soon. The same artist that did the Zeppers is going to be doing the starport Prosperia as a space station, and you guys, this is something you have to think about with Prosperia. It is a 22 square mile structure. So try and grasp, like when I was talking to him about this and we were trying to conceptually like visualize what does Prosperia look like in a 3D sense, you have to imagine something so enormous that it houses 6 major metro areas, very densely populated metro areas inside of a structure. And then the sprawling zones that are outside of that major metro area. So, it's a hell of a thing for an artist to sandbox. But if that's what your question is about, yes, it is. It's on the agenda for sure. See, nice Cardano hat. Thank you. Any more collabs on the Zeppers? No. And here's the thing with collabs. Well, I want to go on a rant, but I will not. I will take the high road. I'll just say that you guys know this. A lot of the club, and the media, YouTubers and all that of Cardano, for whatever reason, don't give Prosperia it's the light that it deserves. And that's fine. Like whatever. We've built what we've built on our own, all of us together, through grit and determination. And we'll continue doing that moving forward. But the truth is, a lot of the big projects don't, like, we have our own vibe. Like I was telling Kripman the other day, we're like rogue, we're totally rogue. And if that's the way we have to be, so be it. But we're doing our own damn thing. So it's hard to find projects that both vibe with what Prosperia is in terms of a story and a project, but also just vibe with us being rogue as a project. Invedas was one of them. They are kind of the same way. Now, they did do a really good job with marketing up front, which we didn't do. We're actually going to be kicking in some marketing here in a couple weeks. We haven't done any marketing at all. They did do that up front, but they're kind of rogue like that too. Like if you really talk with the creators of Invedas, they're kind of the same way. And I respect that. Now, Ugly Bros reached out to us and they've really been cool with us. They had us on a really big space with them. And they've got a good vibe about them too, which I think our team really liked and really enjoyed collaborating and being on their space. So it's, we're not just going out there trying to slap any project out there on our Twitter that wants to be. We don't want to be associated with rugs. We don't want to be associated with teams that treat their community shitty and just look at them as profit centers. Like it's got to be it's got to hit a lot of marks, man, for us to attach ourselves to a collaboration. There will be more, but if, truth be told, we're perfectly happy going the safe path of Prosperia is Prosperia. We are in the CNFT community in a lot of ways the way Cardano is in the crypto world. I don't know if that makes sense, but it makes sense to me. Sky's the limit, Drew says. I agree. Street Victor, I would love that. Curly, Prosper Dex. Ooh, that's cool. That's cool. Der Stilen Fang, I believe that's German or Dutch or something. Starport and Megastructure. It's like a flying nation state. Yeah, exactly. Crypt man. Supreme Regularity. Will you need to own a synth to play the game? You need to have, you need to own Prosperian assets for various components of what's being developed over the next few years. Like if you don't have a Zepper, you will not be able to race. You have to own a Zepper. Now, you could start racing clubs or a racing team and lease those out or rent them out weekly to other drivers. Get creative with it. You guys can do all kinds of shit, but you have to own the wallet that's racing has to have a Zepper in it. And basically everything else that's being built over the next couple of years will function in much part the same way. When are we able to trade Prosper Coin and DEX? Very soon. Beekeep, do it, rant. No. I will not rant the way that my emotions want me to. Cannot be steered by emotions right now. No need for collab. Your concept is superior. Thank you. Well, it's not superior. There's a lot of great concepts out there, but our concept is unique to us. Citizen Faction is the most Prosperia of all Prosperia. That's funny. Curly Knox, yep, you get it. Yep, get it. Shanky, VR planned. Got to stick around, man. Got to stick around. So that was a good range of questions. Where are we at here? 44 minutes, 45 minutes. All right. Let me see if is there anything in Discord that I'm missing. I don't see anything. Any more questions, comments, concerns? Are Zeppers going to have different power, speed, etc.? There's game mechanics that can give them more defensive measures and more offensive measures. So that's all I'll say about that. There are different speeds in different tiers, different classes, but an M1 does not race with an X. Just like an IMCA modified doesn't race with Formula One. Jordan, I have a tough time staying as involved in Discord as I would like. So can you give me a quick hit on Prosper tokens? Have they been distributed already? If so, how do people get them? Pre-sales have not been distributed. There's a lockup period. Same with the initial sale coming up here on the 8th. There's a lockup period. And that's really just to keep the market from being absolutely annihilated with tokens. I think in terms of like airdrop distribution, I believe that it's less than 10 million, I believe. But don't quote me on that. I don't have that wallet on this computer up in front. I don't have that wallet on this computer at all. So don't quote me on that. And I don't have those spreadsheets on this computer either. Will it be first-person shooter in faction battles? Faction battles. Well, faction battles are not a visual battle. They're economic battles. Street victory. So faction wars are economic. We Prosperians are not actually going and tearing down each other's cities. They're more of economic and political battles. And the political side, you guys will see over the next couple months. But, you could own a business. You could be an Iron Hands faction member and own a business in Gods of Fortune territory. So you have to, be strategic as Iron Hands, as a faction, as a collective, to choose which zones you take over wisely, because that move could have an economic impact on the assets in that zone, which you may own some. Some tokens have been distributed via prizes and contests. Yes. Yeah. And it's like, it's a few million. I think probably 7 or 8 million. Upgradable assets like aftermarket. Right now, the upgrades that we're looking at, we initially were thinking about doing it for the cents, but we're not going to do it for those. There are things coming next year, character-wise, because we're not just going to have 5,000 characters for this 3 years down the road. There's going to be way more players than 5,000 characters. So there's other things coming character-wise that will be upgradable. Think of it this way, and I'm trying not to give away too much, but think of it this way. If there are interstellar wars, do you think Ada in her nice sundress is going to go fight those wars? Those assets would be upgradable. The starships, we would really like to be upgradable. There's a lot of creative room on the starships. We could have heavy haulers. There's a lot of different things we're looking at developing for those, that I think that's the best near-term opportunity for upgrades is the starships, and that's at the very end of this year. One of the things we have to do to get ready for that is use a different minting system, because we really would like a minting machine that, or mechanism that lets you trade those assets in for the different upgradable assets or upgraded assets. We can't do that in our current minting environment. So I think the vesting, yeah, you guys got to talk to Nathan about token. A lot of token questions. I will get him on in the near future, and we can talk tokenomics. Any thoughts on being able to pay Prosper to customize the color of his Zepper? You're going to be able to do some color customizations, some skin changes in the game. But I think that's going to be performance based. So we're not really looking at the game itself to be a profit center for the project. We're looking at that being more of a great utility and a great way for the community to earn playable rewards. You know, if we can, now we do intend on taking some of the racing registration fees to cover the overhead, because it is going to be pretty resource intensive, and we don't want that to be a draw on our budgetary needs. But generally speaking, if we could have some pretty epic ADA pulls as prize pulls for race winners, that would be really cool. So I think there's going to be some customization for in-game Zeppers, but those are going to be more performance-based. So if you come in 3rd through 10th or something like that, you might get some points added to your player profile, and that would be applicable to possible upgrades. You guys have team AMAs planned to give more detail on each aspect of the projects? Yeah, absolutely, Drew. I mean, here's the thing, Drew. Like, I see this all the time. If I'm late to this project, no, you're not. If you are here right now, which today's 420, right? I don't smoke pot anymore, but I will never forget 420. Isn't this 420? Cryptman would know. But to 420 at the time of this video, if you are in this project right now, you are significantly early. I know we have a mint for 3,550 assets next week. Man, it is so early right now. To me and to some of our team, we feel like we're just building like the foundation. Like we're just leveling the land. We haven't even built the like we're just getting started. So this is the first actual YouTube video that we've done on this channel. So yeah, buckle up, Drew. A lot of shit coming, man. Some members see no reason for using the social platform app. What are the activities that are available through the app? Yeah, right now there's not a lot of reason. I would suggest though that you find a reason. While there's not one visible right now, still find a reason, because that's where elections are going to happen. That's where faction wars are going to be tracked. That's where you're going to have your campaign group. If you're running for office, you could run for leadership of a faction. You could run for a representative of any of the zones. You could run for Senate of your faction controlled zones. All of that happens in the social app. So right now it's just kind of in beta phase. We haven't moved a lot of the information over there, but I would highly recommend that if you are intending on building an empire in the Prosperian world and running for office and being in leadership positions and gaining influence both politically and personally, get familiar with it. Curly Knox so early. Yeah. Okay. So we're at 53 minutes. Cribman says it is. Yes, I knew it. We're at 53 minutes. I'm going to go ahead and prep closing this out. But thank you guys so much for joining. I really appreciate it. Again, I'm sorry about my shitty audio, but we'll get that cleaned up. And then in a few days, hopefully I can have Cryptman. He's going to have to send me a recording of him saying it. Could be Cryptman, could be Cryptman. But anyway, I have him co-hosting on the show. And he and I will also be tomorrow doing an AMA with Cardano Lounge. So if you're in Cardano Lounge, make sure you catch that AMA. That'll be at 7 p.m. UTC tomorrow, which is Thursday the 21st. Make sure that you subscribe to this channel. If you're part of the replay gang, subscribe to the channel. If you guys, before we shut this one out, if you haven't already done so, hit that like button. It does actually help us with the YouTube algorithm. And we're just getting started with this channel, so that would be a huge help. Call me Crypt. That's what he's going to change his name to. The set looks great, Eric. Thank you. I got a few things to do still in this room. The audio is great. Well, I have the beholder, I guess. For me, I can hear some fuzz in the audio, and that drives me absolutely batty. So I'll get that fixed up. Checking out. Thanks for the stream, man. Excited to be here. Thank you, Jordan. All right, guys, I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up. Really, again, thank you guys so much. My name is Eric Oden. I'm project creator for Prosperia. Be sure and check us out at prosperia.space. Join the Discord. All the links will be down below. Really appreciate it, you guys. Stay safe. Talk to you soon on the next one.